Let's see here, Rheid. I like it that you used this as the opening of your presentation. I think this is a great example of how we can do that, is utilize these speeches for parts of presentations that we're going to be using. So thank you so much. Rheid did want a couple things to be looked at. One of them was, this was an icebreaker. Clearly, Rheid has given an icebreaker before, so we already know Rheid. So that objective has been clearly met. But what he wanted us to look for was, you should make a point, say it again in different words, illustrate the point, and then state it once more in order to for it to be clearly understood. And the other thing he wanted me to look for is, appearances are important. Be well groomed, appropriately dressed for your presentation. When you look right, you feel good about yourself. So those were things that I was looking for specifically in his presentation today. Why are you here? I think you stated it. That was your opening. Why are we here? Okay, and it was sort of interactive, a little humor thrown in. You know, your boss made you, and you know, but why are we here? Here. And I thought that was very poignant, because it's not just here in the room, but here in the, you know, cosmos, as you put it. And I think you tied that throughout your opening. And I'm sure in the presentation it would also be peppered along in there as well. So you did a great job in stating it and then restating it a few different ways. So that was great. And one thing I wanted was, I wanted a few more visuals. When you were careening down that busy street in the wagon, or you bam, hit the bike into the canal, I wanted to see it. I wanted to feel it. You were careening down a busy street in a red wagon. I'm not feeling like my life was very threatened. You know, I mean, show me. I want to feel that little kid going, I'm going to die. My mama's going to kill me. You know, and the hydroplaning, you know, give us a little bit of what you felt. I think I would really like that. You really piqued my interest with what we were going to be talking about, and why we were in the room, why were we at this presentation. I really like that. I would have liked a bit more, you're a low-key kind of guy, but I'd like a bit more energy from you. That would pull me in and keep me in a little bit. Some of your movements seemed not quite as purposeful as I would have liked. When I was a kid, I had several, you know, near death, and then, you know, as I went along, so move a little bit more. With purpose, I think, is what I'd like. And one thing that, this is maybe a pet peeve of mine, I'm not really sure, one of my favorite quotes, and it goes like this. One of my favorite quotes, blah, 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 blah. You know, have that pause and then give the quote. We all know it, how that it's going to go like that. So that little statement sort of sounded a bit out of place. We have a purpose, and that's why we're here. So I really like the way that you wrapped up that little opening. I know that wasn't the end of your speech because you had a whole presentation, so I really did appreciate that again, that you restated that. And the other thing is, you look marvelous. And you always do. And you and I had a discussion earlier about how marvelous you truly do look. So having said that, we're going to have a round robin. And let's remember with the round robin, if someone has already stated something that you have on your mind, let it go and come up with something else. So anybody have a comment for Rheid? Yes, Diana.
When you asked how many of you are ready to go on a journey, I thought you could have redone that. Are you ready to go on a journey? So that speak to one, look to all. For Valentine. Great opportunity for that.
Yeah, great. Yep. Mike.
For Rheid, I love your voice. I think it's very, very appropriate for a speech like this. Very confidence inspiring. You really project wisdom. think about when you have stories, and you had several, your son getting in a car accident, Little Red Wagon, crashing the bike in the canal, hydroplaning, first day of snowboarding. Actually turn those into, pick one of them and turn it into a story. Tell, what did it look like? What did it smell like? What were the actions? Instead of just telling us that there was a car accident, show us what it was like to be there, or what it was like for you as a parent to maybe get that phone call from the state trooper or whatever. More Craig Valentine type stuff.
More in your heart rather than your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an engineer, so gotta work on that.
Okay, talk about tensile strength then.
Yeah, Chris.
Rita, really liked your stage presence and that it was a nice even pacing. I thought the speed, your tempo was really nice, especially in the quote. I got the whole quote. I didn't lose any bit of it because I was hearing it, absorbing and hearing it, absorbing it. I think I'll echo the, I wanted, like the son's accent, I wanted to see you shake in there. It was very even keel, and I wanted it to be lower and higher, which is more that heart and feeling, so we could see this variation. And the last thing would be, the rule of three for the humor, same, different. So you had same, and then the snowboarding thing was different. But it was so far away from the other ones, it wasn't as funny as I think it could have been if you'd had an incident, and then something like snowboarding, everybody would laugh more.
Okay, super. Anybody else?
Just a couple little things that I picked up, and I have to continually give a caveat because I think I had a draconian grammarian when I was growing up. But I heard you say something, you and I to discover. The trick that I was taught was to take out the other person and say it again out loud and say for I to discover, and then you always get the right tense. So that one should have been me, you and me to discover. So it's a pretty small thing, but it always kind of leaps out at me.
Yeah. Anna?
Great pauses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody else? All right, super duper. So basically what we've heard is that we really want to feel from your heart what you have to say, not necessarily just head, but from your heart. You have a great voice. Just show us what you mean. Your tempo was very good. People liked the quote. They got it, and the way you presented the quote was good. And you had a great pauses throughout your speech. So I think it's a good opening. It would catch my attention. I would want to listen to what you have to say for the rest of that presentation, whether it was 45 minutes or 2 hours. I'd be ready to listen. So, and once again, you look marvelous.